Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, December 5th. I think it's the day of the ninja. We have a special ninja theme going on, which you really can't see too well here. In any event, a lot of stuff going on, especially at the end of this week, beginning of the week, and so forth. I do a recap of what I usually do every month. I do a recap of what happened the past month, so if you want to catch up quickly on what happened, I posted on December 4th. It'll pretty much give you all the details of what happened over the past month or so related to Google and SEO. Next up was that Google has confirmed. Remember last week I told you about Thanksgiving. There was some type of Thanksgiving Day. There was some type of penguin refresh or something going on where there were a lot of reversals. A lot of sites saw that they actually recovered from the penguin update. Google confirmed it with us over the weekend. And yeah, it's an ongoing rollout of the Penguin 3.0 algorithm. So specifically Google said that this update, and this is what they said, the Penguin rollout is ongoing, and this is just an effect of that. So what we saw on Thanksgiving Day, which was massive, according to a lot of people who were impacted by Penguin reversals, was related to specifically that. Then, this morning, I noticed a bunch of changes running around Penguin reversals, of the reversals. So people who saw reversals of their Penguin hits on Thanksgiving Day, they were very happy, obviously. On Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, those reversals went into effect. So basically, anybody who saw increases now said, oh, they're no longer ranking anymore. So again, just to give you an update, Google said in October, Penguin 3.0, lots of things going on during that time. On Thanksgiving Day, we saw huge shifts where actually people saw reversals. Yesterday, the day before, after that, Google confirmed it with us that it's ongoing. And then that morning, I think Monday or Tuesday morning, Google seems to have reversed that. Now, to this morning, Google seems to have updated again, and it seems like whatever those gains were originally on Thanksgiving Day are now back for some people. Lots of people discussing it. We have tons of chatter on it. I did email Google to see if I could get a confirmation. I don't think I will get a confirmation, but this morning, Friday morning, December 5th, there seems to be a lot of fluctuations around Penguin as well. Google's John Mueller talked about it in a Google Hangout this week. He seems to not know exactly what's going on. I don't think he's necessarily part of that team that's involved in the Penguin update specifically. But he did say two things. Penguin is still rolling out, which we know, which I don't think he knew until recently. And they're very cautious about it. And two, he said that we're hoping that these things keep updating. Implying that he's hoping that it might be a rolling Penguin update, but I don't think he necessarily meant that exactly. So there's a lot of stuff going on this week around Penguin, so you definitely take a look at that. Google Maps has updated their quality guidelines. They added a bunch of different things here. It's completely rewritten from the ground up. You should definitely take a look at that. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll go through 4. Descriptors are no longer allowed, so you can't say company name SEO firm, like whatever. You can't describe your company in the actual name of the name field. You can select only fewer categories. You can't select descriptive categories or keyword-based categories. Virtual offices like Regus are now specifically excluded. And if you have different departments, they are to have their own page. They must have unique categories. So if you want your own different departments, they must have different categories. There's more details around that. You can take a look at it. The big question is, will Google actually enforce them? This morning I posted about more details around Google, what Google has to say about hidden content, specifically within tabs. Like you click the tab to actually release that content, or in expand links. And John Mueller talked about it this morning, a few hours ago on a Google Plus Hangout, basically saying this is the way it's always been. You won't see anything new related to this. If you want that content not to be discounted, remove it from the hidden tab and include it in the actual content of the page, or make a new page out of it. And we have the video link on it over here on December 5th at seroundtable.com. Also, John Mueller earlier this week talked about paginated content by using infinite scroll. So he's saying if you're using infinite scroll, you scroll, Google only scrolls so much. So you should definitely use the paginated technique, which they talked about several months ago around that. And it's kind of a similar issue to hiding content within tabs and stuff like that. You want to make sure Google could actually get to the content, and Google has deployed or documented technique for that. So you definitely want to take a look at that post if you are using infinite scroll. Once again, we covered this several times in the past, but there seems to be lots of confusion around this. Google specifically said, we do not rank responsive websites better. Google's Zineb, I can't pronounce her name, I apologize, but John Mueller said this in the past, Pierre Farr said this in the past, Gary Hill said this in the past, and she said specifically in Google Maps, thread, we do not rank responsive web design sites better than sites using other configurations separate sites for mobile or dynamic. As long as you're deploying the site according to Google's best practice guidelines, then Google will index it just as well and rank it just as well as other sites, obviously factoring links and stuff like that or errors. Non-responsive sites do tend to have more errors in terms of how they're deployed, so that's one thing to keep in mind, but Google will not rank one better than the other if they're deployed exactly, correctly, properly. Google's Maria, I think, basically said around deep indexing, or deep linking in app indexing. She hinted here saying, yes, iOS is not supported with Google App Indexing yet. She said only it's Android, but stay tuned for updates. The stay tuned for updates is Google's way of saying they're working on something, and who knows when they'll release something around iOS and app indexing, which is pretty useful. And I think that will really take app indexing to the next level, which will be very cool. Google has finally updated their cache. This was Monday morning. Previously it was a month old, and now it's actually being updated. It was actually a bug on Google's side. It didn't impact your rankings or indexing, but it was just a bug with the cache itself. Google Maps, the reviews are so important. I want to show you this. Google Maps creates short business descriptions based on your reviews. So you take a look over here, Tapo Pizza. This line here, airy casual eater offering super thin crust pizza, and based on it, that is actually built off of typically, not always, but typically built off of reviews left in the Google Maps listing. So you definitely want to go ahead and make sure your reviews are done correctly, or you have good reviews. Otherwise, it can be a pretty bad descriptor for you. Google AdSense is testing, or actually I see it live. These icons, I think they've done this before, but like image icons, not necessarily related to the ad itself, but something to actually boost it. So they're testing a new format for AdSense ads. DuckDuckGo, a cool search engine that nobody really uses, but it's cool. They actually added New Jersey transit schedules to your searches, so if you do a search for like next train from this location to that location, it'll actually give you those information. Google does the same thing, Bing does not. And finally, this past, I think Monday or Tuesday, whenever December 2nd was the 11th year of the Search Engine Roundtable, the 11 years of me writing specifically about search engines, not dealing with search engines, but really specifically writing about search engines. I started this blog over here on December 2nd, 2003, so it's been 11 years, and I have some, what the most important posts are in the past year and all this other type of stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Thanks so much for commenting and reading over the past 11 years. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable at SERoundtable.com. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next. Bye.